Welcome to Age of Empires 4, and today we have got a fantastic game on Hill and Dale, spawning in the southwest corner of the map. We've got Server Crash Expert, also known as beastyqt. You may know him. He's just, one of the best players in Age of Empires 4, something pretty casual. In the northeast, he's going up against, representing Team Liquid, Demu, which is also, one of the probably the best players in the scene of Age of Empires 4 right now, playing in purple as the French. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hill and Dale. And this classic matchup, the English versus the French. Well, if you play Age of Empires 4, a lot of you will be playing as these two civilizations, and this matchup is incredibly common. So we'll be learning a few things, I think, and in fact, today I think we'll play this casted game a bit more strategically. We'll talk about strategy involved on this map. Lots to be discussed, because Hill and Dale is something that's gone through a lot of revolutionary changes. Now, we only actually have one gold vein, which has 4,000 gold in it in your main your main hill. Now, the thing is that before you used to have much more gold in your main hill, and that made for many matches to be quite campy. What I mean by that, they used to stay within their base, wall up, and boom up, and it used to be quite slow and static to get the game running. But now, with only one tile of gold, it does mean in the middle of the map, you've got your juicy 8,000 gold veins dotted across the map in the middle, and it means that you both players have to contest that. They have to go forward, put pressure, get control of those, I guess, no man's land. That's kind of the thing to describe this area, no man's land. And you can kind of see the map is actually a little bit smaller than we used to have. So that's something to consider with this matchup, the English versus the French. And the French have that mobility with the French Royal Knights. So they can have that movement speed, they can get onto the map quickly, they can dictate the terms of the fight. And it's something that beastyqt will have to try and address with his more kind of static infantry-based army that often the English go for. You often get, the man-at-arms. They often start off with longbowmen and spearmen. And I suspect we'll be seeing the council hall opening. We'll have to see what beastyqt decides to do. So that's something to consider on this map, the gold vein positions. Also, the relics that can come into consideration if the game does go long. You can see a couple here that are favouring Demu a little bit here, and these two favouring beastyqt. And speaking of the longbowman spearman combination that the English often go for, it will be a council hall. It will be, of course, the School of Cavalry. So this is kind of going back to the roots of the beginnings of Age of Empires 4. We often saw this matchup. Same sort of thing, same sort of landmarks being chosen. And let's talk about upgrades, because we did actually see that survival techniques came in for the French. It didn't actually come in for the English, so that's something to consider. It's a pretty safe and secure research to get, actually. I wonder whether BC just maybe forgot about getting this, or maybe more likely that he just wanted to have a faster push in terms of the longbowman rush. We'll have to see, because the thing is, this is actually really strong of an upgrade. 15% gather speed, that is not to be not to be snuffed at. It's really good, actually. And we see the scout kind of getting an idea of what's happening here, making his way around the stone vein. So you'll often see players do this. Obviously, it's an RTS game, real-time strategy game. You'll need to scout what your opponent's up to, and we can see that, well, he's got an eye on the stone. So he's going to be expecting the early aggression. beastyqt hasn't gone for stone at this point, so he knows it's not going to be a second town center expansion, at least not straight away. It's obviously something that can be considered later. But yeah, it means that Demu is going to have to be cautious and make sure he has units to defend with. And so I suspect he will be getting a couple of knights out. He's got 4 villages on gold. That suggests that he will be continuing, well, he's starting, initial stages of knight production. Once this landmark has been built, looks like both players will get to the feudal age pretty similarly in terms of time. Scout getting hit a few times there for Beastie, but he pulls away, of course. And looks like Demu rather is going to go for stone. He's going to go for a second town center expansion. And the nice thing about the French civilization in this kind of matchup is that, or in most matchups, is their town center actually works faster. So you'll see Demu actually already has 2 villages as an advantage. And that's because of the town center for the French works a bit faster, trains the villagers a little bit quicker. You see 17 seconds to train a villager for the French, and it should be 20 seconds for the English. So it shaves off about 3 seconds. And we do see a barracks coming up for beastyqt as well, because he'll know that his pal Demu has gone for the School of Cavalry, so he's expecting knights to popping out very soon. But yeah, Demu's going to be looking to get a second town center relatively soon as well. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel so far. I know I've been away for a little while. I am coming back to it, I think. Depends how the videos do and how the game develops and progresses. It's kind of an awkward situation where a lot of players have been kind of a bit fed up with the crashes for Age of Empires 4. As you can see, even beastyqt changing his name to Server Crash Expert. There's been a couple of, I say a couple, but there's been a lot of crashing of the game. So we'll see how this space develops. Let me know though how you find the caster games, if you enjoy them or not, if you want to see more. 2 knights on the field for demu and a couple of units, the infantry, 3 longbows and a spear. Adding in a couple of reinforcements. beastyqt gonna take the engagement. Demu will, oh, okay, he's gonna go straight for the longbows, trying to get a couple of hits on them. Be careful not to lose a knight to the spear. Does back off, takes off 1 longbow. I'm not sure that was really that worth it. Needs to be careful not to lose this knight. So something that's very strong for the French is an upgrade called Chivalry. And that upgrade actually allows the knights to be able to heal themselves up when they're out of combat. So I wouldn't be surprised to see demu actually hide this knight inside his town centre, keep him safe so that he can heal up once the upgrade eventually at some point does come in. It's not a upgrade you can get nice and early because it's actually quite expensive. 100 wood rather, and 200 gold. That's actually relatively expensive. So demu needs to be careful not to lose this knight, as we do see beastyqt continuing to put on some pressure with those units. Now speaking of pressure, the pressure for beastyqt is going to wear off because he's going to have to invest in a second town centre. And that will mean that will give demu a little bit of time to kind of push this back and regather his control of the map. Unless, well, it's very difficult to get that second town centre transition and continue producing army. So beastyqt is going to want to stay here on the map for as long as possible. Now, we talked about how the gold veins are in the middle, so something to think about strategically is how you get control of that gold. You're going to run out of your gold very, very quickly, this main gold, and so you're going to have to expand into the front of the map, or middle of the map. And that's something that the players are going to have to contest. The trouble with the English situation and their civilization is their units aren't particularly mobile. They don't have the movement speed that, say, for example, a French Royal Knight does. It's actually got a movement speed of 1.62 tiles per second. And, you know, the infantry, like a spearman, has only got 1.25. So the knights will obviously have that movement speed, get across the map. It is a cavalry unit after all. And it means that, as you can see already now, beastyqt has to pull his army back. He knows he can't really stand and fight, doesn't want to lose his units, and that's what pro players do. They don't lose their units for free often. They try and squeeze every bit of worth out of them. And so while beasty put a little bit of pressure, ultimately the French now are going to come forward and push this back a little bit. beastyqt looking to get a second town centre, and Demusum looking to get his second town centre as well. I say Demusum, that is the name he used to go by, has had that change, so sometimes I might get that a little bit mixed up. Going to go forward with 11 villagers. Going to go on the deer pack. Now, don't forget, he also had survival techniques already researched. And that's the really key issue to think about here in this situation as well, where beastyqt didn't get that upgrade. It's something that scales really well in terms of you're going to need to get the deer packs later on. And, well, demu already has that upgrade. So beastyqt might look to get the upgrade, but he won't have actually obviously leveraged that benefit from the first deer pack. Does lose that villager, so the walls won't go up, and the pressure's coming in already for demu. This is a situation where demu doesn't have to force anything. He's just going to poke and prod, keep his army there on the front lines. He's got the map control. Everything behind this army is essentially in the realms of the French. And this is something that could be really strong for the French, because they can often get further map control by mining more stone for keeps. And it's not just the keeps for the French that gives them map control, but it also adds in the benefit of making the units cheaper. Something that they get very, very nicely as a bonus is that archery ranges and stables placed around a keep for the French makes the units cost less resources, and that's incredibly strong for efficiency of building up an army. A couple of villagers coming here in the east area, maybe looking to get the boar, and I suspect he will probably be dropping a mill. That's the other consideration to be had. The fact that demu has his army on the front, he spots his second town centre. He can take this boar very, very freely. He doesn't have to be too worried about being pushed off it. Probably doesn't even have to drop an outpost. He probably won't be too worried. He can just take that freely, knowing that beastyqt has to keep his army back at home. So this is a really good kind of show of how you can develop map control and keep your opponent's army back at home. And that means you can leverage the resources that are on the map, which is exactly what the French love to do. The boar being aggroed and taken care of right now. The third town centre coming up for beastyqt, and that's actually something he's forced into. I think really BC has the idea that his opponent is on 2 town centres. Now, I don't know whether he actually scouted that. I think he did, actually. He's looking at this. He's seen that Demu's on, he's taken stone by the mining camp, and also he's probably clicked on it and just seen how much stone remains. And so he's aware that his opponent is on 2 town centers, and that forces beastyqt to drop that 3rd town center to be able to keep up with the villager count. You can see the villager count here at the top, 37 versus 44, and that again is because of the French town center working faster to create villagers 3 seconds faster than the English counterpart. Bear in mind as well, that's actually really quite expensive in terms of having to drop another town center. That's ultimately, you know, another 750 resources. It takes quite a bit of time to get that amount of resources, and he's already behind. So bear that in mind. He's already about 8 villages behind. So that means his income for the French is going to be a little bit better. And I would be expecting Demu to start going over to stone again at some point to maybe look to get a keep. Well, when he reaches the castle age, of course, but he needs to start mining that a little bit early if he so wishes to get that keep up. Looks like he might be heading in that direction, thinking about castle age, because you can see that food count starting to rise, gold count starting to rise. As I say that, though, he has spent some more, looking to get a couple more units on the field before he decides to go up to the next stage. Now, I don't know whether he sees this. Let's take a look at whether Demu actually spots the 3rd town center, because if he did, then he probably would think about maybe going to the castle age, knowing that Beastie won't be able to afford too many more units. Looks like Demu's going to pile on some pressure a little bit. You can see Chivalry coming in. The upgrade that does heal the knights. You can see the little green pluses on them, granting them extra HP coming back. And the concern for Beastie is that his army is going to be pulled. You can see he's going to be having to defend his position for now. But I suspect Demu is just going to dive in a little bit, poke and prod, cause a bit of idle time. He won't commit. There's nothing that he can really do to destroy everything that's here. Too much army there for Beastie. In fact, he's going to back off now. But what can be considered a possibility for Demu is now to back off and just go to the middle of the map again. Just poke and prod, try and torch down these walls. And what that'll do, that'll keep beastyqt's army back at home. That's the main priority here. I don't think Demu's going to look to do any specific damage. He's just going to make sure that beastyqt's army is back at home, and that will allow him to freely take the boar and consider getting a keep for the castle age. And you can see already a couple of villages, just 2, nothing major, starting to mine that stone for a keep as he looks to transition to a castle age. You can see that he's going to keep his army there front, poking and prodding, keeps beastyqt's army back at home, and that allows him to take up to the next stage, the castle age. I might look to torch this down. I think Beastie probably will want to fight this off, because I mean, he won't want to give up a town center for free, especially with 9 villages in there, and he can fight this off, to be fair. I think Demu needs to pull back. He won't want to take an engagement, not before getting it to the castle age and upgrades, because the thing is, for the French, they can go up to the next age with a really, really nice landmark, and it's going to be one of those landmarks that, you know, if it is the case that he decides to do it, the Royal Institute, he'll be able to get some really, really good upgrades, and he is actually going with the Royal Institute next to the 2nd town center. Now, the reason why this is such a strong landmark is because it actually houses all the technologies that are unique to the French, and it makes it 30% cheaper. So things like royal bloodlines will really boost up the knights, and that's going to make these knights incredibly effective, incredibly tanky at dealing with the longbowman fire. The concern for Beastie is that not only is he behind in terms of villager count, he's going to be behind on a tech up in terms of still being in the feudal age, but also he's going to be behind in terms of map control. And considering how Demu had those villages on stone, it wasn't that many, just 2, he can actually in fact afford a keep. Now the interesting thing he's doing, he's actually going to build the keep back at home. He's going to play this safely. He doesn't want to, you know, do anything rash. It could have been an idea to keep a keep on the front lines, on the gold veins, but he wants his safe production. We talked about how these buildings are going to be boosted in terms of creating cheaper units. You can see the building layout, the, you know, Demu's thought about this. It's very common for the players to think about the way they place their structures nicely around the keep, and this keep will influence these buildings, makes those units cheaper. And it's going to dive right in, actually. It's going to queue up royal bloodlines already, but it's actually going to dive in already, and I'm not sure about this for Demu. I'm not sure really why he's fighting without the upgrades. Maybe he just wants to poke and prod, create a bit of idle time. There are 16, 17 villages that are idle. Oh no, that's a trap. Demu, I don't know why he's diving underneath that. Spearman get involved. He does take out about 3, 4, 5 knights. That's very expensive there for Demu for not really that much gained, and I think he needs to back off there. I think he got a little bit overzealous. Doesn't have the upgrades, didn't have the veterancy of his archers, didn't have royal bloodlines coming in either. I'm not sure why he dived that, but he did. With the keep up and running now, we can see that it does make those units, you know, decrease cost by 20%. It's going to continue with the infrastructure, building up more production buildings and getting himself across the map. Something to consider when you do get to the castle age ahead of your opponent are relics. So we could possibly see a monastery coming out, or we've already see one already actually for the French, and Demu is going to be looking to get those relics. So this is such a nice play by Demu, the smooth transition to the castle age to get those relics, and beastyqt is going to be behind. Not only is he behind on villager count because he had to invest in that third town center, which was expensive, he didn't do any damage in the feudal age himself, but he's also behind on map control, the age, and also is going to be behind on the timings to be able to get those relics. This is a bit of a concerning situation for Beastie. He needs his army back here now, as you can see, having to be pulled from the main base, and this is something that Demu's done so well. I'm saying it back and again because up to the 16th minute, Demu's kept Beastie's army back at home, apart from the initial, obviously, push with the longbows. For Beastie, he's going to go for a 4-town center, essentially, with the King's Palace. That's super greedy. That will mean that beastyqt should be able to get the villager lead at some point in the game, but concern for him is that that's going to be very expensive on food. It means that his castle age pressure in terms of unit production is going to be a little bit limited for the time being. And on the back of this, I suspect we'll be seeing some relics coming in. There is one relic already deposited, and look at this, keep going on the front lines in the middle for Demu, and he's probably going to go for more keeps as well because he's mining the stone for it. And this is such a strong position. He's got control of 16,000 gold in the middle of the map, and this has come down to the fact that he's got map control. We talked about how key gold is on this map, and where does that leave Beastie? He's got his main gold vein in the main base, but it's only 1,500 now. He's got less than half left on that, and that means he's going to have to venture out in the middle. Well, he can't take this gold because of the keep there. The only real option for him is this gold here, which is pretty precarious position, and I just wonder whether Demu would just plonk another keep here to save this stone and this gold. That would be incredibly strong if he does. He's going to dive in with a couple of knights and the archers in behind. Longbow spears for beastyqt holding that back. The issue is Demu can't really push this. That's one thing that the English are very strong with, especially with the network of castles bonus, which is boosting the attack speed of their units by 20%. And he's also got the counters. He's got the spearmen and he's got the longbows as he would need. He's going to look to re-wall this up and just keep it home safe. The trouble for Beastie is that he's forced into this situation. Because of the mobility of the army for the French, because of the static defenses, because of the keeps. In fact, now with Demu getting the second relic in, he's going to be keep on getting those relics. He's got picked up a third as well, and he's got control of these two gold veins. These villagers are heading south, maybe to get a he's going to get a keep in this position. Going to defend these two golds. It's in a nice spot. I don't know how I feel about that. It could have been perhaps a little bit further forward here to protect this gold vein. Another option that can be considered is with these villagers just to stonewall these gold, because if he does that, there is no real easy way for beastyqt to push this. To be able to obtain gold from this position, Beastie will have to invest in trebuchets, which are very expensive in and of themselves. And now Demu's going to take down this town center potentially. We'll see if he manages to do it. It's on fire. Yeah, I think he commits. He burns this down. That's great. He's going to back away. Doesn't need to take the fight. And now that's a town center down for Beastie. Does have the villager lead by 4. But at this stage, having a villager lead of 4 is not all that much. Demu had a villager lead for a very long time. The army does get aware of this keep, though. That's kind of a bit concerning. He's going to get the keep up, so that's the key bit of detail. He rushed out with quite a few villagers. Another keep here, or just stonewalling this gold, probably wins the game here for Demu. He's actually going to produce some production buildings around this keep, so they continue to get the advantage of the cheaper units, but he gets the reinforcements even quicker. Now, beastyqt's army just never been able to push out at this point. That's so concerning for him. He's going to get an outpost to get some vision. He's going to need a siege workshop. That's the issue for Beastie. He's going to need to get a trebuchet. There's the siege workshop, so we see it already. He has about 700 gold per minute coming in, so we'll be able to afford to keep a trebuchet rather. He's run out of gold. That is such a big deal. He's going to move over to wood, but I think beastyqt might not have any villages on gold. He doesn't. He is desperate for gold. He is on a timer because without gold, he can't really get important upgrades. Sure that his spearmen and longbowmen don't cost gold, but not only will he need gold for upgrades, he'll need gold for the Imperial Age, and he'll want to get some highly armored units eventually. He will be able to afford a trebuchet for now, but only one trebuchet, and he's going to need to get rid of this keep. He may need to use the market. That's something to consider. That's something that is an opportunity for Beastie. He could also consider trade. The only issue with that is it takes a bit too long to set up now. It's, you know, there was a window of an opportunity at the beginning of the game maybe, but it will take way too long for that gold to really start coming in. He needs it now. He's only got 400 gold. And speaking of gold, the other source of gold were the relics. There's 4 relics in play here for Demu. He's got 4 of them. He's got 2 of the sacred sites. Well, he's got 1 sacred site so far, but he's going to be getting in the middle, I'm sure. At some point. We'll see. But if he remembers, he's looking to get this one. Doesn't have the mug right there yet. It's a bit of a concern. Oh, this is a good play. beastyqt might be looking to get this keep and gold right under the nose of Demu. We talked about how he could have walled this up and he didn't, and now he's going to pay the price. This is at a window of opportunity back for Beastie rather, because he's going to get 8,000 gold. That's actually huge. That's the only gold source that he could potentially get. The army for Demu in the middle. There is a trebuchet, 2 of them now for Beastie, so he's going to be able to probably take this production out and this keep. The question is whether Demu decides to... Oh, that's a bit of a bait there. I think he just did that just to distract. Maybe to distract from the keep, who knows, but in any case it's annoying to have that. He does that sometimes. Beastie's kind of funny, just triggering off a Wallow for no real reason. But with equal villager counts, Demu doesn't have the military numbers. It's because his armies are a lot more expensive, but they're all healing up. Now he spots the keep, he knows about it now. He's going to run in to take out the outpost if he can, get the extra vision away. I'm not sure he can dive this. I don't know, the knights are pretty tanky. There's no boiling ore. That's the key bit of detail. But the army is now there in position for Beastie, which is exactly where it needs to be. There's quite a few villages here. This is something that, well, Demu will want to halt if he can. Outpost is now going to go up quite nice and safely. The good thing for Demu, he's got the gold coming in from the relics and everything, so eco will be very, very strong. He's going to get a siege workshop for some trebuchets of his own, looking to take down that keep. This is going to be the focus for the game, I think, at this point. This keep, because that's the only source of gold that beastyqt actually has right now. As I said, they're going to try and dive on the trebuchets. Thinks better of it. There's way too many spearmen. Oh, the spearmen are a little bit out of position. The longbows get wrapped around a little bit, and he does need to pull those knights away because the spearmen do get in position eventually. Quite a few archers going to try and pick those spearmen away if he can. The trouble for Demu is he won't want to lose too many knights. These are expensive gold units. As I said, there's got plenty of gold access. But with the keep in the middle going down now, beastyqt might find a way back into the game. All the trebuchets, they're caught out of position. One will go down. I think a second goes down too. And a third. Oh, that's a big misplay. The pathing really didn't help beastyqt there. That was a huge moment in the game because don't forget, beastyqt is running shy of gold. Does have another trebuchet in the keep area. Going to take down that position if he can. It's good to get the boiling oil as well as the network of citadels upgrade. That will increase the attack speed by 40%. Which is actually absolutely huge. Demu's army starting to dwindle in numbers. Oh, villagers coming forward, maybe try and get that wood. That's a bit of concern. Let's push it back though. Demu has to pull back for now. Demu just going to replace that keep where it once was, and it means that, well, beastyqt is going to need some more trebuchets again. They didn't come cheap. 400 wood, 150 gold. That's actually relatively cheap on the gold front, to be fair. And the good thing for BC, he can actually produce those trebuchets from this keep now if he wishes to, as we just see another one pop out. It looks like Demu might need to pull some villagers to repair this. Now, the good thing for Demu is that his eco is looking incredibly strong. You see at the top right corner, 1,700 food, 3,000 gold. I think going up to the Imperial Age, maybe even getting a red palace in a forward strategic position could be really strong. Concern is that, well, BC has got to keep going up in the middle, gives them a staging ground to attack from. 2 rams probably won't cut it for now. I think Demu might need to retreat from this position. It's actually looking quite nice for Beastie to be able to attack from this situation. As I say that though, Demu does dive in, and there's no boiling ore. Boiling ore was cancelled there for Beastie. I think it was in the queue for research, but he took it away, and he lost a lot of villagers. There are 15 garrison inside, plenty of space in the keep, but the trouble is it's not mining gold now because of that. Look, these knights are being thrown away. Holy moly. Army numbers dwindling for Demu. He lost a lot, has to be said, but he did take out 2 trebuchets. He would have kept that keep alive now because of that. That's the key bit of detail. It was probably worth it in the end because the losing this keep could have been pretty disastrous. There's another 8,000 gold to be had there. The sacred sites have been captured for Demu, just 2 of them out of the 3 so far. Beastie looking to try and push this back, trying to get this keep down in the middle. Lots of gold to be had. In terms of gold, that's the key bit of distance. This one is remaining with 5,400 odd. I think if demu can take care of this situation, this gold vein, the game might be over. As well as if he can keep hold of this middle gold. The big if, though, he is going up with the Red Palace. So this is something really strong for demu, because if he can get those Imperial Age upgrades, which he will, you can see his economy is looking super, super strong. Getting 2,000 food per minute and 1,500 almost gold per minute. Almost triple the amount of gold coming in for the French versus the English. If these get converted into Imperial Age units, it's going to look very, very tough for Beastie. Continues to gather gold, looking to take down this keep. Demu has bought himself a lot of time. Is struggling with the stone though. Hasn't really gathered as much as he would maybe want. Now, with the Imperial Age upgrades coming in soon, I reckon. There we are. He's going to be getting the elite knight upgrades, the elite archers. And well, beastyqt is going to be behind. He just can't afford the gold to get to the next stage. That's the key issue. He's restricted on gold so much in this game. And free gold coming in from the relics and the sacred sites for the French. The knights dive in even before the upgrades. He doesn't care. He looks to try and snap that trebuchet if he can. He does get the trebuchet. Keep stays alive. Not by much, but it's enough. And the trebuchets are going forward. The Palians get deployed by the longbows for the English. The English longbows, though, aren't having any sort of meat shield on the front. And that's a concern. This keep now is under a lot of pressure. Again, gold is struggling for Beastie. Doesn't have the villagers mining at this point. Knight's going to dive in, get some more villager kills. Archers and Arbaletier on the back line for demu. He's going to lose his army once again, but well, Beastie doesn't have that much army either. All of those villagers in the gold vein do go down. Knights are dancing around. They're picking off villagers when they can. With demu now peeling his army back. There is the elite knight upgrades and the incendiary arrows coming in. That is going to be incredibly strong. Can also go for elite horseman upgrades. So going to keep up with the cavalry and is going to get one of these cannons. That's going to be really, really strong at pushing this back. What can beastyqt do though? Could go for a Berkshire Palace rather. And he does that exactly at that point. I saw the resources really start to climb. Could be a really strong position, but look at this. A Paul's Siege Workshop. A cannon pops out at the worst possible time for beastyqt. That's going to take huge amounts of damage. He drops it down to almost 0 health. And that's so bad for Beastie in terms of timing, because when a building is being constructed, it takes more damage. And here it is, the elite knights getting a lot of damage. The cannon being fired up by the 2 Springles, but villagers coming out to repair that cannon. The cannon is going to take out the Berkshire Palace before it's even built. And that is huge. The Imperial Age upgrades might be able to come in for Beastie, but he's going to lose the Berkshire Palace. Just one or two more shots and it's going to be on fire. The knights dive in. They don't care. These are elite knights. There it is. The Berkshire Palace going to go down as soon as it's built almost. Villagers coming out to repair, but it's not going to be enough. And look at the army count for demu. It's on par with Beastie's, but the big difference is these are premium units that demu has. And there's no way to stop this. The Berkshire Palace will go down with the next hit from the cannon. There's no anti-siege for Beastie at this point, and he's going to lose his position. These 2 gold veins will be under control of the French once again. And look at the stone count for demu. He can build up to 2 keeps already. I'm sure he's going to replace his keep for the 3rd time maybe. An outpost on the front line is going to go down. There are 3 trebuchets. That keep does get taken down on the southeast eventually. The trebuchets start to pack up again. Beastie is still holding on for now, but the control of this game that demu has been exhibiting is so strong. Cannon moving forward. The cannon's going to look to take down this keep. One knight will try and dive a trebuchet. Don't think he'll make it. Ooh, 2 Springles almost taking down the cannons on 50 HP. Villagers come out to repair, which is so strong. There's just no real counter to the knights at this point for Beastie. Doesn't have enough gold for crossbows, which would be the natural counter. So he's going to have to rely on spears and longbows. And this just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. More knights coming in, heading into almost the 30-minute mark. And if this keep goes down because of the cannon, that probably will be curtains in this game. There's no gold access for Beastie. I don't think he's been mining gold for quite a bit of time. There's still 9 villagers apparently. 4 villagers, but the trebuchets are going down to the knights. The keep will follow, and I think at that point it will be the GG. There's a keep going down for demu in a really strong position. Will help protect the army. It's a staging ground to attack. Could even consider getting the 3rd and final sacred site on this crazy match for Hill and Dale. The classic English versus French. It's coming down to a lot of map control features and strategies in this game. Demu playing this super nicely. And with that cannon taking down this keep, there is no safe gold here for Beastie. What answer can he have to these French Royal Knights, these elite French Royal Knights? The cannon going to start to make work on this final keep that Beastie has, and there it is. Before we can see it go down, Beastie taps out. What a fantastic game on Hilldale. I hope you guys enjoyed the casted game. If you did, do give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.